gentlemen, this is an emergency broadcast. Of course, wonder the say shall never end. Just join me wherever you might be watching from here. I remain Chico Zendibo. Yes, my people do say, Otimpo Malaysia. Honestly, don't read, don't they read. And of course, many people are adopting the survival mechanism in order to cushion the effects of this economic mishap. Trying to play safe and trying to play to be a better person, possibly to gain some political considerations and compensation. Otipu Malaysia, as my people do say, it is quite laughable and hilarious for a man like Yul Edochie to be studying an erudite scholar and a distinguished journalist, Hussein Rufai, on the basis that he is insulting his guests. What is his own main headache concerning the issues? If Rufai has violated, of course, the ethics of his profession, there are people that should call him to order, not the likes of Yul Edochie, who unfortunately, if I may say, of course, is just seeking for relevance, he's just seeking for attention of which he never deserves. Who is he to ask Oseni Rufai that where do you learn your journalism? You see, it is quite insulting and very disgusting for such a person to insult the personality and of course, intelligence of the listeners. It's rather unfortunate that you, Edochie, will condescend too low to begin to take offenses or to take it personal. You see, Useni, as far as I know and I'm concerned, is doing his job perfectly, and for which he was, of course, employed. It's not like other, channels who may want to be, of course, cajoled, who may want to compromise. What he's doing is in the interest of all asunder, in the interest of the Nigerian populace, who many have lost, of course, their voice, and he is just doing the work of journalism and nothing more. So for you calling, his name and calling the attention is quite unfortunate. Who are you to ask Rufai Husseini, or where do you go to school? Where do you learn your journalism? You can imagine such a level of, I mean, insult. If you know what you mean, you shouldn't have in the first place come to the public to begin to yell and to begin to voice out what you don't know. He is doing his work based on of course, the best knowledge available to him. He is making his findings. If you invite somebody to your place, or you invite him to your, or host anybody, you must get information. What is called proving. There are questions you ask just to prove, to get facts from the person. It's not in any way insulting the person. And if the person feels, of course, he may not want to continue from such without feeling comfortable with such a development, he may decide to walk away. It is not something wrong. You see? But the reality is that you are not in the know. You have expressed some level of ignorance and level of, will I say, I wouldn't use the word stupidity, because you have behaved so childishly. We don't need any introduction to let us know that the President of Nigeria remains, of course, the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We don't need further explanation or interpretation or introduction to that effect. So calling El-Rufai Husseini names in the name of defending Tinubu or the president or his guest is quite unfortunate, coming from a man, of course, whose public reputation or perception uh, is raising some level of discomfort and controversy. So you should allow El-Rufai to do his work as he is trying to do his work. You're not trained as a journalist. You are not trained. You're just, I don't know your professions or your area of specializations, but you shouldn't dabble into what you don't know. Yul Edochie. But my people do say, Otimpo Monesia, you might be crying out, of course. I was surprised that you have left the obedience movement. I thought you have once an obedient, faithful, or whatever. I'm quite unfortunate of recent your movement and this thing suggests a such level of betrayal. You should come out boldly as a man and let us know where you stand for. Are you standing for Nigeria? Are you standing against the masses? Calling Husseini names is the height of irresponsibility. It is the height of insincerity on your part. Asking him, where do you go to school? Who taught you journalism? Who taught you what you're acting? You can't insult a man who, of course, is at his best in what he is known for, and of course, should not in any way try to guide him. Because everybody has freedom of speech as expressed and captured by the provisions of the Constitution, which respect people's opinions and convictions, and as such, will not be in any way, of course, infringed upon. If you invite a guest and the guest is not feeling comfortable, he has the right to leave. And that does not mean that while he remains, you are not, you can't ask him any question. You can ask him any question of interest to prove whatever you want to prove or get whatever information you want to get. So it is quite unfortunate that the likes of Yul Edochie, who in the midst of this crisis, economic crisis, rocking the entire nation, will be so distracted, will be so myopic, not to ask questions. Why are things going this way? I expected him to have presented a more logical, of course, argument rather than withholding Hussein El-Rufai, telling him that you think you are more concerned. How do you know you are more concerned, Nigerians? You should be able to let us know your convictions, your positions, or where you stand. It is not time to begin to stand in between the fence. You get here. Enough of this propaganda, enough of this deception. It is no longer acceptable by you, of course. I watch your videos on how you berate, you insulted your person and not the person of Hussein Rufai, who I believe that majority of Nigerians, of course, agree with his own positions and methods of interest into matters that borders on existence. I don't call for the insult or for him to insult or any person to insult the person of the president. That is not what I'm saying. But that does not mean that the president is not answerable to Nigerians. That does not mean the fact that he is the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria or Armed Forces does not exonerate him from the responsibility of being accountable and responsible for his actions to Nigerians. So you cannot tell us otherwise, because the provisions of the Constitution make it clear that the primary responsibility of any government is the welfare and security of her citizens. Now, any government that failed in this primary responsibility should be held responsible, of which unfortunately you are living in such deception. I thought you should have called the attention of the president. Why are people still dying across the length and breadth of this country? What are the security operatives or chief security officers doing regarding the height of insecurity? Give him time. How much time will he give? Is it eternity? You should give him time. How many time? What is the limit? What is the expected time frame or time limit that the president should deliver. You see, she give it time. Already he has, of course, by the from the verdict of the Supreme Court, he has 4 years, of course, to run. But this 4 years is ticking. Time is not waiting for anybody. So, with the level of pain, agony, suffering Nigerians are plunged into, there arises the need for emergency, emergency in every sector, in every facet of our existence as a people. So the government should be held responsible, and they should be able to tell Nigerians where they are moving, where is their policy direction, where are they taking Nigeria to. Because up to now, Nigerians are not yet aware where they are heading to. Everybody seems to be confused. The economy is plunging, of course, sinking abysmally, and you, Yul Edochie, will have no other considerations about the plight of the people rather than be insulting the person of Hussaini Rafai, who is doing his job, who is sensitizing, intimating the people of the need, of course, to hold the government accountable and to hold the government responsible for their actions and inactions. That is what I expected you to have joined your voice or lend your voice in support of what Hussaini and many others are doing, rather than scolding a man who is best at his work. It's quite unfortunate. Maybe you are just seeking for relevance and sympathy, or possibly Otimpu want to share. If he, as a way of survival, you are trying to remain relevant where you are not needed. It's quite unfortunate. You must not speak. You are not the only actors or whatever they call you who have watched, of course, RFI's statements and programs. So why should you be the one to begin to talk what you don't know, because you think that talk is very cheap and you can talk whatever you think you can talk and get away with that? It doesn't happen that way. How many years is the president of France, Macron? How many years is it? You might be his senior. Why didn't you join? Why didn't you go and buy tickets and join the presidential race if you think you have anything to offer? So you should leave, let Hussaini Rafai alone. Let it be and do what he's known for and what he's trying to do, his professionalism. He's acting within the, of course, the ambits of the law and have not violated any, of course, known law as stipulated in the Nigerian constitution, which allows freedom of speech and expression of opinions. So you cannot gag him. He is doing the right thing in as much as he respects, of course, other people's right. But telling him that you should stop insulting your guests, does it mean that he shouldn't ask fact-finding questions? He shouldn't investigate or interrogate his guests to get the true positions or whatever information he wants the public to know about issues. You see, he asks grooming questions to clear the air and get people well informed. Millions of people are watching his programs and they are very keen at, of course, following him up. So you cannot be talking like this, say, Hussaini, where do you learn journalism? But people want to share, maybe you are seeking for relevance and seeking for the sympathy and the recognition, which unfortunately you might not get. That is the truth. Because a double standard man cannot, of course, be stable. So you should grow up and, of course, be a man. Let people know where you stand for. Let people know beyond fame, beyond money, beyond wealth and all that. Integrity matters. People should be able to know who you are and what you represent. What are your values? You see? Hussein Rufai have carved a nick for himself. He is doing what he knows how best to do. Are you happy with the level of development? Look at how much is $1 today, and you are telling us to have time. Yes, you already have the time. So what will you do with the time? The time is ticking, and people are getting more poorer. People are getting losing their jobs. People, I mean, are not faring better either. You see, the poverty gap is widening. So what should the government do at this time to, I mean, arrest such level of insecurity, hunger, I mean, economic mishap, bedeviling the people? So we should not hold the government accountable. Everybody should go and sleep because you are Yul Edochie now. People should go and sleep. That's the way you are snoring. You should better be careful and mind your business. If you're seeking for relevance, there are better ways to do so. Not to insult your person before the public. We are more intelligent and more, of course, educated to be to be to be too gullible to fall into your deceptive connotations. I stand with Usemi Rufai for what he's doing. Yes, he's serving the masses, he's serving his own generation. What have you done for your generation? Yes. What have you done for your generation? Even in terms of popularity, you are not a match to Husseini Rufai when you consider his antecedents and what he has done and his acceptability before the public. You are not within the threshold, so there is no way you can begin to think, I mean, that people should in any way, of course, buy into such cheap propaganda you are spreading. It is quite unfortunate. Well, Otipu Malaysia, you are just crying for possibly your own share. You needed to add up or possibly sustain your what will I call it, life self. I don't know the word to use, but the reality is that such cheap propaganda cannot sell because people are more informed, people are more wise now than ever before. So people know this truth, whether you say it or not. People know, millions are aware that Useni, of course, Rufai is one of the reasons why Arise TV is gaining popularity. It's not gaining popularity based on deception. It's gaining popularity because people could trust him to analyze without being biased. In-depth analysis of events and being factual without fear or favor. That is what gained him, of course, the admiration of the masses, which unfortunately we are jealous about. Well, I will want to call your attention, of course, to reconsider your words, your position regarding Oseni, and kindly apologize to him if that becomes necessary. Well, I'm not the mouthpiece of Rufai, but if he considered it necessary, because I know that he's too committed to his programs and more focused to be distracted by such cheap propagandas. Congratulations to, of course, Husseini Rufai for what you're doing and what much is expected of you, regardless of whatever cheap propaganda that may be sponsored from any portal to distract you. I thought this man called Yul Edochie was an obedient movement sympathizer, but because things turn around otherwise, and he's now castigating Yul Edochie, it is quite unfortunate that this is not acceptable, and we must vehemently condemn it, because we stand for the truth. We know the truth. We have studied the antecedents of this current dispensation, and we know that unfortunately they have not defined their direction in terms of policy directions and their programs. Nigerians are still wallowing in thick cloud not knowing where to face and what might become of their fate, their destiny, and their economic survival. These are things that should, of course, priorities should be placed on, not just coming and be making silly statements. I mean, I use the word silly because I'm also entitled to my own opinion. If you can ask Ofai, where do you go to school, is an insult. But I've not insulted you, but I'm just analyzing based on the contents, you see, and the intent of your submissions. So it's rather unfortunate that we can find a young man of your nature, of your caliber, who should be more admired and respected, but there's some level of inconsistencies. Are you comfortable? How many people have you been able to help out of this quagmire, economic quagmire? What are your programs? Do you have any NGO that sponsors people to learn work or to get out of this economic mishaps they have been plunged into? The reality is that nobody is happy with the system. Nobody will want to insult, of course, his leader or government. If the today, leaders should be admired and loved. Not, of course, the respect must be earned and not be forced on the masses. So, if the president wants to gain the admiration of the masses and, of course, win the confidence of the masses, he should do what is needful rather than ending up in empty promises, which, of course, does not make any positive impact in the well-being of the Nigerians and all asunder. So this, on this note, I want to wrap it up here. I think it's high time we begin to tell ourselves the truth that we must face the monsters and the realities confronting us, and to chart a way forward. Cheap propagandas and deceptive, of course, means will not help us. Nigerians are suffering. If you don't know it. People are suffering within your neighborhood, around you, in your village. Go and find out. That is assignment I'm giving you. You know that you go and find out. Your relatives, your brothers surrounding, they are suffering. They need help. You cannot telling them that they need time. What kind of time? Is 4 months not enough to chart a way forward? Is 4 months not enough? I mean, to tell us where you are heading to. It is quite unfortunate, honestly. I'm somewhat disappointed at this, but I'm just trying to, of course, control my emotions, not to insult the person of anyone. But the reality is that people are suffering. What are you doing to get the government's attention over the plight and sufferings of the masses of this country, rather than being distracted on the frivolities and the immaterial, inconsequential issues, which have no basis of acceptability. So you must go back to the drawing board and know how to, strategize and get the government's attention on issues of national interest. Issues begging for answers, urgent answers, telling us this administration is too young to do what? It's quite unfortunate. Too young to do what? Too young to get Nigeria out of poverty. Too young to get basic amenities and facilities to the Nigerian masses who are already suffering, who has been expecting a turnaround, and you came on the promise on the mantra of renewed hope, and you are still dashing the hope of Nigerians. You told us that you are coming with a renewed hope, and now you have the mandate. Give Nigerians the renewed hope. What hope? What kind of hope are you giving when you cannot at this time define your policies and your programs for the country? How much is a dollar today? How much is a dollar today? How much was dollar when Tinubu took over in May 29? You are aware of that. Go and make the research. And you're telling us to give him more time. More time until Nigerians, everybody is sold out. That you know that you have achieved your purpose. It's so unfortunate. I think this is not about acting. It's about people's life. It's about people's destiny. It's about posterity, and we should not play to the gallery. We should not, of course, sacrifice the destiny and the lives of these Nigerians, millions, over 200 million Nigerians, at the altar of psychophancy. Enough of this psychophancy. Nobody will want to insult the person of Tinubu, including I myself. I respect him as a person, as an elderly man, or my father, but that does not mean I cannot hold him responsible by virtue of the position he occupies as the president of Nigeria, who is saddled with the responsibility of protecting life and property. So I should be able to question some of his positions, some of his policies, and of course, he is under constitutionally obliged to answer to those queries. He is answerable to Nigerians, including I myself. So on this basis, I have the right to express myself. If not doing well, I told him he's not doing well, and that is the truth. You can't be living the world of fantasy. So I think Tinubu, His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, should beware of hypocrites among him, saboteurs, people who opportunists, who are just coming around him for political gains. He should be aware of their lies and deceptions. He should be aware, if you want to succeed, if you want to make an indelible mark which will stand the test of time, if His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu want to carve a niche for himself, want to right the wrongs, or want to change the public perceptions about his personality, about his person, about his background, he should be able to set, of course, a new template for Nigerian states. Otherwise, we should forget about Nigeria, because Nigeria is not my father's business. And if they don't want it to succeed, well, that is good for them. So he should beware of those sycophants who might surround him just for political gains. And just watch out those betrayers, watch out those propagandas, because anyone that laughs at your presence might also stab you behind. So, but someone who tells you you are not doing well, when you are not doing well, you need to do better. That is what he's telling you. If you learn from those criticism, and you will be better off. But if you don't, well, it is up to you. That is my candid advice. I'm not forcing it on any person. But Yul Edochie, or whatever you are called, should apologize without any further delay to Hussein Rufai for asking him, where do you learn your journalism? He has the right to question any guest who is invited, of course, and probe him for more inquest into matters of concern, or of which is in charge, has an oversight of. On this note, I call it a day. It is not about survival. It's not about doing anything you can just to survive. Your integrity, your name should be the most concern, and the welfare and the primary concern of every Nigerian should be, of course, the paramount and the utmost interest of any leader, regardless of the hierarchy you find yourself. You must do something collectively to better the lot of Nigerians. And being that His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu is saddled with the responsibility at this time, if he fails, he fails, and posterity will hold him responsible. So he has the opportunity to succeed, and he shouldn't blame anybody for his failure, because he is the grand commander and the president, and must do anything within his reach to ensure that